Hey y'all, it's your girl Lisa Sunshine. The Apology Podcast is about to be on and popping because I got my babies here today. Like this one right here. No, first grade, kindergarten, somewhere around there. Anyway,
Kindergarten.
kindergarten, I believe it was. Ariel, known as Big Swole in the AEW. Ah! And she may know this guy. I don't know. I don't know. Said Alexander is by marriage my nephew to my baby here. And WWE Raw, how in the world? How in the world? Listen, we were tripping, okay, as a family going, what? 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 This is so cool. This is absolutely so cool. So, said, of course, I call you said. So, what do people call you?
They call me many things. Prime, Cedric Alexander,
Okay.
King of the Carolinas, so
Okay,
like,
King of
I
the
got
Carolinas.
many names.
Okay, how did y'all meet though?
You want to start this one?
Yeah. I'll
Okay.
start that. We met in Concord, North Carolina.
Air Force.
Yeah, I was.
When you
I was
were getting out.
I was getting out of the Air Force, and I was working at GameStop. And a friend of mine, Robin, who was working with me, was like, "I have a show I have to get to. It's all the way in Concord," and he was just stressing about getting a ride. So I said I would take him. So we packed up early, and then we went to the show. Was it November 11th? Yeah,
Yes.
November 11th or 16th, one of those two. And the show was like 3 hours away. He didn't tell me it was 3 hours away. I should have did my research, but I was just like, I thought it was right, 30 minutes or so.
Right.
And he did not know how to drive stick shift. So there I was driving 3.5 hours for him early in the AM.
Yeah.
And I saw him walk past. I heard his voice first, very high pitched.
Yeah.
I was like, who is that?
I was growing as a young man.
Oh, okay.
My voice was not.
Okay.
Right.
He was screaming, and I looked over, and I saw this beautiful chocolate man with this big old booty, and I was just like,
I do my squats.
Is him? I need to talk to him. And Robin was like, do not distract this man. He is well on his way. He just got signed a Ring of Honor. He is not looking for anybody. And I was like, you don't tell me what to do. So I stole his number out of Robin's phone while they were looking. I said, I'm leaving here with something.
Oh my God.
3.5 hours, no gas money. I'm leaving here with something.
Oh my goodness.
So
is that your side of the story, Sad?
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's pretty close.
Like, OMG. I mean, of course things happen. You doing the Air Force thing, which of course, came with some hiccups.
Yes.
And things of that nature. And then you meet this guy who is well on his way to WWE, just doing some of the craziest, got my husband and my kids screaming at the top of their lungs at TV screens, going, wow, like, how did you get the interest even to say, I'm gonna do WWE?
Man, I got it early.
Okay.
Very early. I was like maybe 5-6 years old.
Okay.
My stepdad was a big wrestling fan. Ricky, he was a big wrestling fan.
Yeah.
He was a big fan of, and my mom too. She was a big fan of Wahoo McDaniel, Sting, Hulk Hogan, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So coming up, it was always in the house. Just wrestling was on TV.
It was
one
culture
day.
for you. Yeah.
Essentially, and living in North Carolina, that's like the heart of like Mid-Atlantic wrestling. So like rich wrestling history in Charlotte in general. And I was watching from there, watching Rey Mysterio.
Yep.
Juventud Guerrera. I just saw the costumes. They're bouncing off the ropes and like they're superheroes essentially.
Which
right?
would make sense because Ariel's been bouncing since the day I met her. Like she has literally been the polar opposite of my daughter, which is why they got along so well.
Yes.
And so this all makes sense. The theatrics, the
drama.
The drama of it all, the athleticism. You went to school for dancing, full ride,
Yes,
full
ma'am.
ride scholarship, just doing the doggone thing. And then, okay, I'm going to do the Air Force.
Yeah, I like to bounce, like you said. Like, my dad calls me Tigger for a reason.
Yeah.
You just be bouncing all over the place. That's me.
And so the I don't know, I think it's the excitement too of, I can do this.
Yeah.
And I can do it well. And so leaving the Air Force, you meet this guy. He's got this dream. I'm going to do WWE. And we going to get together. Lord have mercy. So I'm gonna skip past all of that. Okay. But who in the world decided that you would step into the ring?
Well, I always had a list when I was younger of things that I wanted to do.
Right.
Since my mom was like, "You can do anything.
That's
You
right.
put your mind to.
That's
You
right.
can do you can do anything.
She didn't
Christ
think
gives
it
you
was gonna
strength."
be this.
She really didn't. So I was just like, I had my little list when I was in elementary school, and I was like, I want to be a wrestler because I watched wrestling growing up. Flicking back and forth between WCW and WWF
Right. Yep.
at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And when we got together, I was just like, this is it. He goes to training, like it was like 3-4 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I'm going to do this. So I sat him down and I was just like, I've made an executive decision that I am going to wrestle.
Mm-hmm.
And he looked me in the eyes and he was like, are you sure you want to do this? It was like it was like asking to be Jewish. You ask 3 times, and they're gonna close the door and you're in your face like twice.
Wow.
They gotta make sure that you're willing to, take that leap of faith.
Right. Right.
And he was the same way. He was just like, I don't want you going into this business if you're just trying to use it as a pedestal for something else. I don't want you going into this business if it's not something that's in your heart, because it means the world to him.
Yes.
So I didn't want to disrespect the art
That's right.
and the craft of
Yeah.
wrestling. So I sat on it for a while because I got pregnant. And
Yep.
afterwards, I was like, I'm still doing this.
Mm.
And he was just like, all right, well, we're going to start training then.
And I think that's amazing, only because your pregnancy was not the easiest.
No.
And the recovery was not the easiest. So, of course, Aunt Lisa and your mama, Mary, we're literally having these powwows like, she's not crazy. Listen, she's daring.
Yes.
But her health, oh my gosh.
It's daring too.
Her health is putting her through the ringer. Like she's got WWE and F going on with her health. So why in the free world would she want to do wrestling? So how did you push through? I'm going to do it.
It's a mentality for me. And that mentality is definitely backed on faith.
Yes.
I had undeniable faith in myself and what I could do. Some people call it delusion. I just say that it's just complete faith.
Yes.
And I was like, when I go out there, I'm gonna do this, and nothing is going to stop me. And that's just how it was going to be for me. I didn't care what I saw. I knew that what was internally inside of my brain is what mattered first.
And you could do it.
And I could do it.
Sad, how did you walk through as you are soaring and illness says, I'm showing up and I'm showing up strong, and your wife, like, how did you figure what in the world, like, what can I do? Because she knew from jump that the core of you said wrestling is my DNA. It's who I am. It's where I'm going. She knew from jump. And so how did you weather those matches and the training and the travel? Oh my gosh, while she was going through.
Constant communication. We would constantly just be texting each other throughout the day, just make sure she's okay. It was I was motivated because I had to be,
Yeah.
I couldn't. Failure was not an option,
Right.
I
Right.
had to succeed.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I kind of figured out, like, okay, her health isn't gonna necessarily get better
Right.
anytime soon.
Right.
So we got to manage things. We got to manage the time together. We got to manage how long I'm gone at home and stuff like that. So we it was rough. It was rough. Just patience and consistency.
Yeah.
Really seemed to
So
bring it home.
let's talk about that, because women in general believe that we can do whatever we put our minds to do. And as a part of your support team, your prayer team, just checking in, how things going, and you straight up lying, I'm good, auntie, I'm good, I'm good. And I'm knowing, like, no, you're not. You're sitting here lying to me. And so we pray, you know what I mean? But there's a thing called there's a thing called illness that will sit you down.
Mm.
And so when what were you diagnosed? What was the actual diagnosis?
It was Crohn's disease. My diagnosis was Crohn's disease, but the sub-diagnosis was toxic megacolon, which is like the highest version of Crohn's that you could have. Yes, ma'am.
And I know people who have weathered the Crohn's storms, and so that is not something you are diagnosed with and you continue.
No.
And you continue with the athleticism, because what happens when you're training is ferocious. I mean, the weights, of course, that's bearing down on your stomach, the pressure, the grunting, and that's just not conducive for Crohn's, honey.
It's not. There's a lot of stress on the body.
Just a little bit.
Your mother reminded me of that numerous times, saying, trying to get you to slow it down.
Right. And when we were talking, I was like, but she has to, this isn't a said thing.
Yeah.
This is an aerial thing. And so Big Swole, I mean, the people were loving every bit of that. And since I've known you, that is your MO. Talk to me, somebody. Tell me how amazing I am. I already know it, but you can add in a little something,
Yeah, a little bonus never hurt. Little sprinkles.
And so when the Crohn's diagnosis happens and you're already signed, you're already traveling and you're doing your thing, how does that play itself out with decisions and contracts when you have this illness and they're paying you and you're assigned to this, what have you? How did you work through that?
In all honesty, it was difficult because I wanted to put my best foot forward when it comes to wrestling and when it came to my career. However, I always had to think about the illness.
Yeah.
It was just like, like a little shadow on my shoulder. And like sometimes things would lock up. They would think that it was rheumatoid arthritis in my joints, and things would just lock up where I needed crutches and stuff like that. So I really just had to be aware of how my body was doing every single day, and also making great conscious decisions when it comes to eating, stuff like that. So to make sure I'm not eating before the match, and if I am eating prior to, it's something that's not going to make my stomach, bloat or have pain or anything like that.
Wow.
Or I'm running to the doc to bandage myself up before matches.
Yeah.
Like it just got to the point where I wasn't thinking about myself.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about I have to do what I need to do so that I'm not, in conjunction with like my contract and stuff, and I'm not avoiding that out.
Yeah.
So I was just trying to make sure I was okay.
Yeah.
To get through the matches.
Yeah. And so the mental the mental aspect is one thing, but when your body starts playing tricks on you,
your body starts telling you, no, I don't want to do this.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I'm not.
I'm not.
Yeah.
And there's so many times that I'm looking at her just getting ready to go to a show or something like that. I'm like, no, you just your body is not even responding well. You can't walk the same right now. Maybe you should take a break.
Yeah.
And it's just that. And you know what? That was actually the hardest part, is getting her mental to say no.
To say I'm going to stand down.
It's okay to take a break.
Yeah, I'm going to stand down. Because go ahead.
It wasn't until he was just like, you have so much energy for wrestling, but when you come home, we don't get anything. Because I'm recuperating every single time I'm home.
Yes.
So what they saw was just a shell of me, So I would give Big Swole everything that I had.
Of course.
But Ariel got nothing.
Yes.
They got crumbs. So they had to put me together.
Yeah.
Like Humpty Dumpty every single time. So I get
every
back on
time.
that wall.
Talk about a price to pay.
Right.
For it, for someone making the determination, because as I'm talking to your mom, I'm going, Ariel's been this little feisty, determined something else since the day you had her. And so it looks like Seth should just put his foot down and say, no, you're not doing this anymore. She's your daughter. She's your daughter, Mary. She's your daughter. And you tell me how that's going to go.
Right. Like, would you?
I did it. It just took 4, 5, 7, 8, 12 times for it to work.
Right.
It took a while. It took a while. I got there.
In conjunction with being a mom, and so there were times when both of y'all would be on the road.
Yes.
And Odessa needed childcare, and for 2, 3, 4 days at a time, where because your schedules were crossed over. And so we're talking about faith, we're talking about illness, we're talking about determination. How in the world do you make that determination to finally say, I am amazing, I am courageous, I am determined, but I'm going to sit down?
I had to be sat down.
Okay, you had to be sat down.
I had to be sat down on many occasions where Crohn's just got too much, and oh, there you go, another surgery, and then pneumonia, and then the nightmare virus. It was just a consistent, overwhelming, like, now you get this on top of this. Now you get, are you gonna sit down now? I just had a feeling that the most I was like, so what are we doing? You hard-headed, you gonna sit down because your family needs you, your daughter needs you, your husband needs you.
You need you.
I need me. Our dogs need me.
And the way you just kind of said a thing. And many times as women, whether we're married or not with children, we'll put things in that order. We'll say, they needed me, so I needed to make a decision about how I was going to live. My only child needed me. My only husband needed me. My dogs needed me. But when do we stop to say, ooh, I needed to check in with me? Because, I want to make these people happy, but what do I need to do in myself to say, I need to sit down and be good with that decision? Not because you need to pour and have extra, whatever for your family, but because you want to be good within. You want to be good with you mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Like, is this some kind of trick? Like, I'm a hard worker, I'm determined. Like, God, what are you doing? What are you doing? What's happening? Why is this happening to me?
Why am I slowing down?
Gotta
go fast.
Yeah. And so when did you make that determination, again, mentally, that you could be absolutely amazingly successful and sit down?
It was 2022. I had promised Cedric that I would finish up my indies and then I would sit down somewhere. So I was finishing up. I had one more to go. But then, of course, the universe has other plans. I ended up going to the hospital and they found 7 fistulas in my body. And I was just like, well, I was going to sit down anyway. So now I'm just going to sit down here. And it took almost a year for me to be okay with that. To be okay with living life is the basis for me. Like, that is where my joy begins. Everything else is a bonus on top of that. I get to go out and be a host, so that's a bonus. Like, I'm just happy to have the use of my limbs and to, work out and to breathe and to eat and to sit on hard surfaces without a cushion.
Oh God, that was a really annoying one for a while.
I had to start looking around at everything that, especially like when I'm eating, I think about the things that, I get to have these things. I'm grateful for the small and little things.
That I get to. That I get to thing instead of I have to or I need to. I get to live. I get to see my family every day, spend quality time in peace, and I get to love on me and my body and my mind without feeling like I'm a failure. Because you've been a go-getter since you started multiplication facts. You've been a go-getter since, and so there has to be some level of friction that you had to work through. Your career, at that time was not stopping. Like, you were at the helm of your thing, and your wife is going through absolute hell in her body and her mind because she's telling you, I will when I want to. And you're going, okay.
Trying not to be controlling, but at the same time going, proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
Let's look at it.
Yeah. And so again, you're getting in the ring. You're flying all over the place, and your wife is literally trying to figure out how she can breathe, how she can. Does she lay on her left side or she lay on her right side? Or, did the people show up who said they were going to help while I was gone? Or did you even allow them to come and help, Missy?
Yeah, I did. Did. I allowed
The only ones
him.
that were allowed to come were what? Your mom and
Yeah, and my sister.
we had
Yeah.
3.
Well, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they weren't gonna take no for an answer too. So.
Yes, yeah. And then of course Alexis and Jasmine and Kiera and Priscilla, my friends, they came, my core friends came over.
Yeah.
Even some of them flew in from New York, like
Yeah.
Faye and Tasha and Lovely.
Yeah.
My friends, like
Yeah.
good support system, very, very strong.
And again, when you're talking about, like, I can remember vividly, Lex would say, "Mommy said it's going to be gone for this, and Ariel's got this going on, and who's going?" Your mom hadn't retired yet.
Yes, yeah, she's still working.
Oh yeah, we had to figure out the schedules because
And
that was
little
rough.
one could be around for some of that before she started kindergarten and pre-K and all that. But then y'all moved, got a different house, and I thought Mary was going to just lose her lunch because she was like, "She's still far away. Get my baby on this side of the water. I need to help,"
Yeah.
And so as you're traveling and you're figuring out, she ain't gonna sit down.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to deal with her mom because
yeah.
my girl is, she wants you to hear and respond. And so as family is kind of watching you guys in this pro arena figure out something different, as the husband, how do you figure you can take care of your wife when she's saying, "I can go a little further, I can do a little more," and you're seeing that she cannot?
It was always really just trying to remind her, hey, there'll be tomorrow. You don't have to pour on everything today and try to make something work that clearly isn't going to work today. We have the rest of our lives to work this out. There's no reason to think, oh, I'm going to run out of time to be successful. Like, no. You can. This is the chill time.
Right.
It's one of the things where if I would come home frustrated from something on the road or something at work, she'd be the one telling me, "No, don't worry about it, baby. There's always tomorrow." And I was like, "Okay, now let's turn it.
Yeah.
Let's turn it. Now it's your turn.
Yeah.
There's gonna be tomorrow. We'll have another time to work this out. Like there's so much time. We got the world in our palms right now.
Yeah.
And it was just a long time to make her see that because in her head, it's there is no off switch.
Right.
But sometimes you got to find the off switch and just dim it a little bit.
Right.
You got to turn it off and just dim it a little bit.
Right.
And it was
and so when you have that come to Jesus meeting kind of, and then you're figuring, okay, I need to have another one. I need to have another one because we talked about this 9 months ago, and so I need to have another one because she's not hearing me. As a husband, like that has to be frustrating.
Oh, extremely frustrating. But at the same time, too, I knew what I was getting into when we got married. I knew she was going to be real hard headed, and that's what marriage is about: the conversations that we have and seeing it from her side, because I completely understand where she was coming from.
Sure.
If you told me that I would never be able to wrestle again, or that I'll have to slow it down, that would be really hard for me to take.
Right.
That's how I live my life.
Yeah.
Like the last essentially 20 years.
Right.
I've done nothing else but wrestle.
Yeah.
I've prepared high school wrestling, college wrestling. I did all of that to prepare for myself where I am now.
Yeah.
And then have that snatched away. I completely understand where she came from. So yeah, it was
I appreciate
it was
that exhale.
really rough. Yeah. It was really rough.
Yeah.
But we're here now.
And so that is one of the most phenomenal things for me to see you glowing again. And the joy has returned. It's, the color left you for a while. Your color was gone. which meant that your body was in healing mode and it was going through. It was really, really going through. And so that glow, that joy, like what does it look like now, as because you just did a little WWE shift here recently.
I did.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
did.
Can we talk about that or no?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
discussed that a little bit. I've made some career changes.
yeah,
Left the WWE. Now I'm currently with TNA Wrestling.
yeah.
Enjoying the time there and trying to spread my wings a little bit.
Spread your
Spread my
wings.
rings, you know.
Yeah,
There's a little bit more freedom
yeah. I bet.
going on now. So
I bet
yeah.
so.
You know, it's good to see that we both have new focus.
Yes.
With me focusing on more of a solo career and a different path, and her trying to be a hostess.
Yes.
Commentary, who she's been
And she's
killing
so
it
good
lately.
at it, man. She's so good at it. Some of your collabs, honey, just recently I've been seeing,
Yes, you know.
so proud of you. Sit your butt down and host.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, a little easier.
She's a great talker. Just
And she
in
knows
hand,
the
I'm going.
sport.
yeah.
She knows the sport. She knows the game. Like, it's so cool because it's like when we're able to see that there's more than one way to walk in success or to feel like this is my purpose, this is my calling. There's so many ways to do that, as you're seeing. Raw and WWE are premier throughout the world, especially this country, and now TNA. And you're talking about solo career, your business owners, your brands.
We are the business.
Yeah. And so of course, Lexi, I know gets on you all the time about the branding pieces. And so the branding pieces tell your story. So when are you going to tell the story? When are you going to let the people know, other than right here, of course, because you've had a little something going on with different media. They did an expo, right? That one time. That was a few years ago.
Yes, I've had a couple of them. Like some of them been on Now This.
Yeah. Because there's encouragement here.
Yeah.
You do have a lot of couples who are in business, maybe not WWE and stuff, or Raw, but you have couples who work together, and it can be frustrating working with your significant other, and then you go home together, or maybe even at separate times, and now you're shifting. There's been a pivot, and so what does that pivot look like for you? The travel schedule and
we are best friends.
Yes.
So when we work together and stuff, and he's wrestling, I'm commentating and stuff like that, it's easy.
Yeah.
We don't really get tired of each other.
No, I think we have a pretty good understanding of when it's time to work, it's time to work.
Yes.
And then when work's over, we don't talk about work.
Yeah.
We talk about other stuff. We try to catch up on the billions of shows that we have backlogged.
Right, yeah.
So, well, it's almost like a new lease on life,
Oh, 100%.
Your health returning after that horrible
18
season.
years.
Well, the last surgery you had was what? For the fistulas?
Yes,
Yeah.
the last fistula.
And those lasted almost 2 years?
Yeah, that was a long time.
Almost 2 years you
That
had
was a
them
long
into
time.
Yeah.
That was a long time.
Yeah, 3 years.
Oh,
3
yeah.
years. It was 7 fistulas. It was 4 surgeries.
Right.
And this last one was a vaginal rectal fistulotomy.
Good God Almighty!
Right.
Yeah, that's
when Lexi described some of that to me, I would start Googling. Like,
What
oh
is that?
my gosh,
Yeah,
whoa,
Woo!
And so again, to see you in health, that has to be again almost like a new lease, the rejuvenation even in your marriage, and at home and with Odessa and the crazy doggies, you know what I'm saying? I mean, that has to be something in your mind that shifted to say, I have a greater appreciation.
Oh, yeah.
I have a deeper appreciation just for the basic stuff, the things we take for granted.
We enjoy time home a lot more at first.
Do.
Yeah.
I love waking up every day and it's a new adventure of what are we going to get into today?
Yeah.
I'm going to go outside, I'm going to ground, get into the sun.
Yeah.
I'm going to read my Bible, I'm going to meditate.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hang out with Odessa. We're gonna watch Harry Potter.
Yeah.
I'm going, I'm gonna hang out with Cedric. I'm gonna talk his ear off about Love Island.
Yeah.
I've low key started to really enjoy that show, even though I tried my hardest not to.
Right.
I try hard not to
He hasn't even
enjoy
watched the
it.
full episode, but he's like, and what happened? So he'll just be walking around tonight.
Yeah.
Like, on
And
Love
what's
Island.
really crazy
It's
with that,
hilarious.
with the reality stuff, the TV shows, they're scripted, but not, whatever.
Oh, yeah, everything's a
And
work.
so, like,
It's a work. Yeah.
So it's fun. It's fun. It's entertainment. And it allows us to kind of just say, I'm going to check out for a little while.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All eyes don't need to be on me all the time. I'm gonna check out for a while and just woo-saw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's next with TNA? What's next?
That's still kind of up on the table as far as what could be going on next. I do know I'm gonna be rekindling an old friendship with Mustafa Ali. Me and him had a great match in it was 2018 WrestleMania 34 for the Cruiserweight Championship. That was something me and him really put a lot of time and investment into, because when we were both at WWE, it was that was our show.
Okay.
We were on the 205 Live brand, and that was the show that was like, hey, these are a bunch of young guys. We don't really know what to do with them yet.
Yeah.
This is kind of our proving ground to show that we could carry a brand.
Yes.
And between Mustafa and myself, I feel like we really proved that. That was something that when they filmed that show, they filmed it after SmackDown.
Okay.
So after you would see Randy Orton and AJ Styles and John Cena go out and do their thing, they'd be like, all right, now we got these other guys coming out.
Right.
You're gonna watch them do their thing.
Yeah.
And for a while it was rough because it was like, we don't know these people. We don't want to stay and watch them. We've seen the stars.
Right. Yeah.
But then after, and this is what I feel like is really a major attribute of my life is consistency.
Yes.
Consistency.
Yes.
Because through consistency and perseverance, we just kept going.
Yes.
Pushing, trying to give out better matches every single week.
Right.
And it's just slowly but surely we were, in my opinion, probably the hottest brand in WWE at the time.
Right.
Putting out the best matches.
Yeah.
Especially for we only had 45 minutes, an hour worth of time of TV time.
Yeah.
And we made it work every single week.
And all I kept saying was, set must be on, because the screams that are being scrimped in the living room and all over the place. Like, I'm going out to the pool.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to go to the grocery store or something, because this is ridiculous. And so the consistency, when you're not being seen, when you're not first up, when you are second and a half,
might as well say third.
You know what I mean? And so the determination in you, the focus in you, I'm not going to stop until I get to the top in you, got you to a place. I mean, WWE, how do you sign contracts with Raw and WWE? That's just little boy from Carolina. Yeah, it was culture and everything, but
I was just a small, chubby, asthmatic kid from North Carolina with club toes and everything, just trying to make it work.
Yeah. And I think mentally and emotionally and spiritually, all those things collide.
100%.
Every time you say, I'm getting up, I'm going to train, I'm getting up, I'm going to this meeting for this contract, I'm going to volley back and not just take anything. And then I'm going to do that over and over and over and over and over again. As an entrepreneur, people really take for granted what it takes. What it takes, the sacrifice, the mental fortitude to say, I'm going to pivot, or I'm going to rebrand, or I'm going to get my health together.
Start over.
Start from scratch.
But not from scratch.
Not from scratch.
But not from
Not from
scratch.
yeah.
We start over from experience, from the lessons learned. We don't take losses, we take lessons.
Yeah.
I like that.
So what would you say? 19-year-old female, she likes college, but not that much. She likes weightlifting, she likes entertainment, she likes drama, and she's looking at this wrestling thing like it can happen. Like, I think I can do this. What would you say to her? What advice would you give to her?
I would look her dead in the eyes and I would tell her, make sure you love wrestling before you become a professional. Okay? Again, make sure you love wrestling before you become a professional.
Okay. Why is that?
Because this business is tough already.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough to take the bumps. It's tough to nurse yourself to health. It's tough to work out and then go to training and then work on your promos and then go out and get everything else that you need to do to make yourself cosmetically pleasing to be on TV.
And then advertise yourself.
And then advertise yourself.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work. It's the work that you do to put yourself in those positions to get to the AEWs, the TNAs, the WWEs, the New Japans of the world. So make sure you love professional wrestling. You love the art. You love the craft. You like to watch the tape. You're invested in your career and not just to get famous.
Right.
Fame can come for anybody. That's very easy to catch.
Yeah. Anybody can go viral, right?
Anybody can go viral, especially nowadays.
Yes.
But, for wrestling, I can always tell when someone loves the sport, when they love the art form.
Okay. All right.
So
business. Because I think that's the beginning, but then there's the business side.
Yes.
And so what business deal, when you think about it, you've been in this thing 17, 18 years, like what business deal could you or should you have made that didn't happen? What would you do different? And then what's one business deal that you should have made or just should have pulled the trigger on, should have done something different maybe?
I have kind of two frames of thought here.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever missed out or made a business decision or didn't make a business decision that wasn't made. I think I've always kind of carried the right direction, made the right decision at the right time.
That's good.
But there are a couple of times I had a what if I did it? What if I didn't go to WWE immediately? What if I did the tryout and everything and then said, let me go spread my rings more.
Okay.
And then see what we look like in 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
There was a time after I did the Cruiserweight Classic in 2016, right before I was actually signed with WWE. There was more of a tryout area. and I was doing that and I was thinking, what if I don't sign? What if I use this popularity, all this buzz I'm getting from just being here and having a great match here, and then take it other places and then do the same thing and just keep building that character. And then when they do sign me, I'm worth 10 times more than I was when I jumped in. So
that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's that's a hard one. I feel like I definitely made the right choice by signing with WWE when I did because it gave me everything I have today. And 8 years is a long time to be there.
Yes.
But I also feel like there's a what if scenario. What if I took my time and then matured more and then signed? What would look differently? And I really wish I could have done that. But at the same time, I'm very happy with how things turned out.
Right. I appreciate that. And so when we there's the husband and the wife thing because you guys have been in this together from before signing and to now, pivot, Miss Hostess, pivot, TNA, and so where do y'all go from here? Are you going to start your own, thing? Is it time for a podcast with Ced and because you're the hostess? I mean, come on.
This is like what the 4th or 5th time in the last 2 weeks that someone said we should do like a big podcast.
Yeah. Yes. That is actually the move. Now we've been hearing it, like you said, plenty of times. Where we're just like, you know what, we have the equipment. It's just a matter of sitting down and doing it. Now, Cedric, on the other hand, he doesn't like people.
Oh, hold on.
It's not like scratch that from the record.
It's not that I don't like people. I just enjoy my solitude.
Yes, he's a total introvert.
Okay.
Yes.
Not total, just mostly.
Mostly.
Yeah.
80%. 80%.
Yeah. Okay. And so
80%.
So
a solid 80.
And you hear that because I think it's really cool because when it comes time to the training and all that kind of stuff, and then you get in the ring, you're a persona, your brand, and when you're in the ring, you're not the introvert.
No,
No.
I completely become a different person.
Yeah.
And that's wrestling has always done that for me, which is why I feel such a deep connection to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because as a kid, super shy,
Yeah.
didn't I was the nerdy kid
Yeah.
who just was kind of athletic. I was like, oh yeah, and that's just where I'll stay. But once
Right.
I joined the wrestling team in high school,
Yeah.
I was popular in high school
Right.
for that one season because of wrestling.
Yes.
And then the season's over, I'm back to being the quiet
Yes,
kid, and no one
yes.
talks to me anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like, it was always every time I
So
jumped
you
on
were
wrestling,
communicating. You
oh
just
yeah,
did it through wrestling.
just did it through wrestling,
Yeah.
and that was where my personality came out. That was where if you put me on stage in front of people and say, "Hey, give a 5-minute speech,"
Right.
I would freeze.
Right.
I wouldn't know what to say. I'd be
Right.
sweating.
Yeah.
But you tell me, "Hey, put on these tights and go beat up someone." I go, I can do that all day.
Okay.
I'll do that for an hour if you ask me to.
Yeah. So, we talk about, the pivot. We talk about, all the things that we have to go through, the mental fortitude, the prayers, and the tribe that's got to support you, while you're building and while you're growing. Um, and so, Ariel, what is your biggest fear? What is your biggest fear right now that you make sure you keep a handle on? Because stuff does not go away. We transition and we make pivots, but what's your biggest fear right now?
Honestly, I don't have one. I try not, well, excuse me, not when I say try, because I don't try to do anything, I just do.
There you go. Don't we know?
I don't associate with fear.
Mm-hmm.
It's not in me.
Yeah.
It's nothing that I want to harp on, because fearing and worrying is just praying for something that you want to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so when it comes to our lifestyle, our livelihood, I just think positively,
Mm-hmm.
and I move forward, and I
Mm-hmm.
pray and go with grace, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's kind of where the buck stops.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't do negativity. I don't do fear or anything like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's a healthy fear. We have to have healthy fear. And so I'm not talking about something that's just gonna take you out and take you over, and the world's gonna end tomorrow. Nothing. But as individuals who are pivoting, like my greatest fear is that I stop believing in myself because the road gets rough.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's hard being determined all the time. My biggest fear is that I forget to bet on me when the world is talking smack all the time.
Yeah, that's a big one.
That's
a big one.
And so betting on me is my faith in action, And so how about you, Sid? We'll end with that.
I'm about right there with you.
Yeah.
I'll throw in there just because I see it so often, staying healthy.
Yes.
Staying healthy. That's especially with her
yeah.
case, like it's seeing how her health has been firsthand, and just the nature of wrestling too. Like injuries can happen at any point in time. It's not ballet, as I say.
No. They get injured
not,
too, though.
Not saying ballet is easy now, because
not at all.
I've seen ballet toes. Those
yes.
That's painful.
Yeah.
But
thankful mine are still intact.
I know. You got out early.
Right.
Just in time.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's for me would be the biggest thing, is staying healthy. And then actually I'm just kind of recently getting over that fear that you just mentioned about that faith in yourself, that determination, because a lot of times so my scenario, when you leave WWE, a lot of times people look at that, I'm not talking about now. That's it. I'm at the bottom. Like that doesn't mean it's over.
Right.
That just means now you got a new set of tools to work with to make things happen.
Yes.
And that's something I've been learning here recently with being back on the independent scene, more my own boss, more in control, is that I'm realizing that I have to have more faith in me, because now I don't have the system to help back me up, so to speak. So it's everything's on me, and that makes me more motivated.
Yeah.
More motivated than I was,
because
a
you
year, 2
you
years
have what
ago.
you need.
I have what I need.
You have what you
it's
need,
just a matter
because
of
you have your faith,
Mhm.
and you have your history, your consistent history.
And that's something that being gone from doing it, just I don't think about it and go, oh
It
wait,
doesn't
I've
go
been
away.
right. It doesn't go away. Like people have seen me for years do my thing and like
Yeah.
not thinking like, oh wow, do I have this kind of impact on
And you do.
on people?
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
It's amazing to see that, and then it's
Right.
kind of surreal to realize like, oh, I'm kind of becoming the guy that I was watching when I was a kid. Like, oh,
Absolutely. Yes.
I'm someone's Rey Mysterio. I'm someone's
Yeah.
like, so it's,
Yeah. And it's kind of cool because we don't see ourselves like that.
right.
Because really
Right.
we're just living the dream we believe we could.
Right.
You know? So it's everyday life for us. But for the people who don't see themselves in a light to be able to accomplish whatever they determine they can, they don't see themselves that way. They don't have that type of faith. They don't bet on themselves, you know? And so they see folks like you, folks like me saying, oh my God, you're amazing. How did you do that? How do you keep showing up like that? How do you keep being amazing? I believe in myself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have faith in God.
Yeah.
That's how.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Now that I've thought about it,
Oh.
I would say that my only healthy fear is making it.
Making it.
Making it. You make it past that threshold. You become the ultimate superstar, in your field, and you're globally recognized. What happens after that?
Right.
How do you handle that? Because I like going to the store and minding my business.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen.
It's a healthy fear of like, oh, that sounds like too much to be,
right.
the Beyonce of the world.
Yeah, I need to order my groceries and pick them up or have them delivered. I
like going to Publix a little too much.
Yes.
Like, just be non-bothered.
Yeah. And that's the cost that comes with dreaming big and living big. That's the cost that comes with it. And so I pray grace over each of you, the introvert, the extrovert, the extra extrovert, this is my baby. I get her 1000%, And so I pray grace over each of you because when we pivot and we have history, we can do anything. We can do anything. So I pray that this next season is exponentially more beautiful than the first one.
We receive it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank
y'all for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you for
and we'll
having
see you,
us.
host and Mr. Used to be WFE, gonna make it bigger and better.
Everywhere, all the time.
all
Mr.
the time.
Prime.
Mr. Prime.
With a Y,
Prime
because
with a
he
Y.
is.
With a Y, because he is.
Yeah.
That's going on a t-shirt. Put that out there now.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for tuning in. Listen, I hope Ariel and Prime has said something to encourage you as you figure out your next steps. Because if you believe in yourself and you have faith in God and you've got your tribe in place, you can do anything but fail. And so thank you for tuning in, because the Apology Podcast is all about making the decision without anybody's permission. Okay? We'll see you next time.